I've done a lot of long drives in my life. College road trips, late-night drives home from visiting family, random weekend getaways, stuff like that. But there's one trip I took about 2 years ago that still creeps into my mind every time I stop at a gas station late at night. It was supposed to be a simple drive. I had just finished visiting a friend in another state and decided to drive back home overnight so I could make it to work the next afternoon. The trip was about 6 hours total, mostly highway. At first, everything was completely normal. The road was mostly empty, just the occasional semi-truck or a pair of headlights passing in the opposite direction. I had music playing, the windows cracked slightly, and the kind of calm focus you get when you've been driving for a while. About 2 hours into the trip, I pulled off the highway to get gas. The station was one of those small roadside places that looked like it hadn't been updated since the early 2000s. Only 2 pumps were working, and the fluorescent lights above them flickered slightly. There was one other car there, a dark sedan parked at the pump closest to the building. I didn't think much of it. The driver was standing beside the car, leaning against the door while looking down at his phone. I barely glanced at him as I started filling my tank. He looked like a pretty normal guy, maybe mid-30s, average build, dark jacket. The only thing I really noticed was that he kept glancing up every few seconds. Not at the road, at me. At first, I assumed he was just bored while waiting for his tank to fill. Still, something about the way he looked over felt deliberate, like he wasn't just noticing me. He was studying me. But once my tank was full, I got back in my car and drove off. Within a few minutes, I had completely forgotten about him. About an hour later, I stopped again. Not for gas this time, just to grab a drink and stretch my legs. Driving at night for that long can get exhausting. This gas station was bigger, brighter lights, a small convenience store, a couple trucks parked along the side. I pulled into a spot near the front of the building, and that's when I noticed the sedan. The same dark sedan, parked 2 pumps away from mine. At first, I told myself it was probably just a coincidence. After all, we were both traveling along the same highway. People stop at gas stations all the time. But as I stepped out of my car, the driver's door of the sedan opened, and the same guy stepped out. Same jacket, same build. He didn't look surprised to see me. If anything, he looked calm. Almost like he had expected me to be there. That uncomfortable feeling from the first station crept back into my stomach. Still, I didn't want to jump to conclusions. So I just went inside, bought a drink, used the restroom, and left. When I walked back outside, the sedan was gone. I figured that was the end of it. But about 90 minutes later, I stopped for gas again. By that point, I was getting tired and just wanted to make it the rest of the way home. This station was practically deserted. No other cars. Just one pump lit up at the far end of the lot. I pulled up, stepped out, and started filling the tank. The night was completely quiet. No traffic, no wind, just the hum of the pump. Then I heard tires slowly rolling across the lot. I looked over my shoulder and felt my stomach drop. The dark sedan was pulling into the station, the same one. The car rolled past me slowly, then stopped at the pump directly across from mine. The man stepped out again. This time, he wasn't looking at his phone. He was looking straight at me, not smiling, not frowning, just staring. Something about it felt wrong. Not aggressive, not friendly, just intensely focused. Like I was the only thing in the world he cared about watching. My tank still had a minute left to fill, but I didn't care. I pulled the nozzle out early, got back in the car, and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see him still standing there beside his car, watching me leave. For the rest of the drive, I kept checking my mirrors. I never saw the sedan again, but when I got home the next afternoon, something made me curious. I decided to check the route I had taken the night before, just to see how far apart those gas stations actually were. That's when I realized something that still bothers me. The second station The one where I saw him again was nearly 60 miles from the first one, and the third station was another 70 miles past that. For him to appear at all three places, he would have had to leave before me every time. Driving faster than I was, somehow predicting exactly where I'd stop next. Which means one thing: that man at the first gas station probably wasn't just passing through like I thought. He was waiting. And if that's true, then I still don't know why he chose my car to watch that night, or how long he had been there before I arrived. But I do know one thing. Since that drive, I never stop at the same gas station twice, just in case someone is waiting there again. And what bothers me the most is something I noticed when I reviewed the dashcam footage from that night. At the first gas station, when I pulled in, that dark sedan was already parked there. The engine was off, the lights were off, and the man inside wasn't on his phone. He was already looking directly at my car.